Hello, and welcome to this video looking at how to deal with the partial exemption VAT scheme within Sage Intacct. Some goods and services, such as charitable fundraising events, are exempt from VAT. If all the goods and services you buy and sell are exempt, then your business is exempt and you won't be able to register for VAT. This means that you won't be able to reclaim any VAT on your business purchases. However, if you purchase any goods or services that incur input VAT, and you use those to create the goods and services you sell that are exempt, then you're classified as partially exempt. Please use this video as a supplement to the official VAT notice provided by HMRC. This is notice 706, and I'll add a link to the description of this video. In a multi-entity organisation, you set up partial exemption by entity. This provides flexibility for large organisations that have different agreements for partial exemption with each of their entities and HMRC. To set up partial exemption within Sage Intacct, the user in question will need the following permissions. Once that's been set up, navigate to Company, Setup, then Entities. Edit the desired entity and then scroll down to the partial exemption section of the Entity Information tab. Tick the Enable Partial Exemption tick box. The screen will then show you some further options. Tick the Default Partial Exemption On tick box to make partial exemption valid for all transactions. Leave this unticked if you want to manually select which transactions are valid when you come to enter them. In the Unrecoverable Tax Amount drop-down menu, select the general ledger account you want to post partial exemptions to. Best practice here would be to select an expenditure code, as you can't reclaim this amount back. Once you've done this, set the effective date and percent value. The percent value is the percentage of the taxable value that you can reclaim. Partial exemption rates can change over time, so to account for this you can set an effective date for each exemption to ensure the correct partial exemption rates are applied at the right time. When dealing with a standard or single entity company, you'll find this area in the configuration screen of the taxes application. Let's now look at how you process transactions that are applicable for partial exemption. As I mentioned during the setup section of this video, partial exemption is set at an entity level. It follows then that any transactions that are applicable for partial exemption also need to be created at entity level. You can enter the transactions either through the accounts payable or purchasing applications. The steps with regard to processing the partial exemption are the same, so we'll just look at the accounts payable purchase invoice. On the new invoice screen, make sure the partly exempt tick box is ticked on the applicable entry line. The recoverable and non-recoverable portions are then automatically calculated based on the effective date and percentage entered in the entity setup earlier. If we open the details area, we can see the amounts. Once we've posted the invoice, we can see the effect it has on the general ledger. The percentage of the total VAT we're allowed to claim has been posted to the general ledger account for input VAT, and the unrecoverable amount has been posted to the account we specified in the setup. The transaction will also appear correctly on your VAT return, making sure that you claim the right amount of VAT for each applicable transaction.